go. First day of the trip. Nothing much to tell here. TSA took me 20 minutes to get through. Went through the x-rays twice. First with shoes on, second time without shoes. Then I hit McDonald's up for some breakfast. And then I found a spot to eat my breakfast and do some work while I waited for the flight. Once I was on the flight, I thought it was a normal flight up until I saw there was no TVs and the Wi-Fi didn't work. So I had to be stuck on that flight with my own thoughts. So it felt like a longer flight than it should have been. Anyways, once I landed in Baltimore, I went to the car rental spot. I had to take a shuttle there, and I was looking for National. Once I got in, I was like, okay, I want this Honda Accord. And then usually you just get in and leave. So I left, and once I made it to the gate, the lady was like, oh, this is your first time? I was like, yes. So she was like, you have to go back and talk to the front desk people so they can file away your signature, and then you never have to go through this process again. So I was like, fuck. So I had to drive away in shame and go back and sign my name. Once I did that, finally got to leave. You know, since we're in a different state, we gotta hit a Burlington or two or a Ross. So we did that on the way to Lusby, Maryland, which was an hour and 30 minutes. So I hit a couple of those, and on the last Ross, I was like, fuck, I gotta get to meeting my coworker. So at that point it was noon, so I had to pick up some food, which ended up being BK because I didn't eat since like 5 in the morning. So I eat, and then I drive to the pier, which the pier is beautiful. It wasn't too much further away from the Burger King. Pier is beautiful. That's where I linked with my coworker. We talked for a little bit. He was jabbing my ear off about something, and then I got saved by the bell because my homie called me and was like, hey bro, I know I said we were gonna meet in Waldorf, but there's nothing to do there, so just come to Virginia and we can link and do whatever here, because he owned a house there. So I agreed to drive the 2 hours to Virginia, but at first I had to go to the hotel, check in, and then I dropped off my stuff. Nothing to say about the hotel room. The hotel room's nice. They're always nice. At least to me, that's the best part, just because it's a room all to myself. But anyways, I drop my stuff off, and then I get in the car and drive the 2 hours to Virginia, which usually shouldn't take 2 hours, but since it was during peak traffic hours, it did take a while to get there. So I finally make it. We chop it up. We talk about the summer program where we met, and then what we've been up to, and then we wait for his, how do I put this, flower guy to deliver him some flowers. And then we finally decide on going to the gym, and we pick up his boy and we hit the gym. I hit some squats and then some deadlifts, as you can see here, and we were gonna hoop, but the gym was motherfucking packed and it smelled like dookie butter. So we decided to leave. We hit the Burlington on the way out that was close to the gym, and then they took me to this Arab spot or Middle Eastern spot that was really good. I think it was Palestinian owned because they had a couple Palestinian drinks in the fridge, but that shit was bussin'. As you could see from the clip of the food, it had me like,
Have mercy, I'm about to bust.
other than that, after I finished the food, I made my hour-and-a-half drive back to the hotel. Looked at the dash and realized I had driven for 6 hours, so I quickly hurried into the room and knocked out for the night.